Coming from the Northwest, I found living in the woods of Maine to be a unique experience. I was used to suburbia and neighborhoods. Once I decided to write a book about these 8 years, it took me 3 years to get it down and edited. There were some things I loved about living in Maine, the beauty and the people, and there were some challenges, mostly in the form of snow and bugs. My husband John and I searched for a place to live. We found a passive solar home off the grid in the woods of West Peru. To get a better perspective of the house and its surroundings, we hiked on a snow machine trail to the top of Speckled Mountain to take a look. There was quite a view from the top. The house and the property are in the clearing in the center of the photo where the arrow points. It is completely surrounded by forest and hills in every direction. Mount Zircon is the highest peak behind it. This seems isolated and remote to me, but also full of possibilities. This is the house and barn with a meadow to the left. The camper we drove out with is on the right. The telephone line was the only communication with other people. I was grateful the previous owners had paid for the poles and lines to bring it to the house. We didn't have the internet or cell phones. The property is about 500 feet higher than the village. Many people kept asking me how I liked living up on the hill, so we named our new place Up on the Hill. I painted a sign that I put out by the road. It wasn't long before we purchased 2 darling Toggenburg goat kids. I named one Daisy and the other one Dandelion. Not having ever been around goats before, I didn't know what to expect. I became rather consumed with my goats from that point on. I found the goats to have perky personalities, both friendly and into mischief. We took walks together in the woods, in the snow, and on the road. They often occupied themselves by slamming their heads together. After I leased a buck goat, both of my does became pregnant and had 2 kids each. Daisy wouldn't have anything to do with her baby, so I became her mother. It was hard to watch as she butted her away time and time again. The problem was they didn't want to stay in their penned area and became very good at getting out. They liked to come up to the house to see what I was doing. They would gnaw on the house and sit on the top of our vehicles while chewing their cud. They preferred to be out of their fenced area and became quite proficient at getting out. They would usually come when they heard me calling, if they were within hearing range. One time they didn't return, and I searched and searched for them. They didn't want to be fenced in, and this was the response I got if I tried to get them to follow me back down to the barn. They let their own wants be known. We had the meadow dug up and a pond put in. Trying to get firewood on the far side of the pond, John got the truck stuck. The tractor also got stuck trying to rescue the truck. He doesn't really have on a Speedo, even though it looks like it. Oops, wait! What is that photo doing here? Oh yeah, it's John doing 67 push-ups on his 67th birthday in his Moxie t-shirt that says, "It's wicked good." He is a push-up guy. We adopted our daughter Chelsea while living up on the hill. This is at Logan Airport, where volunteer escorts are bringing babies from India to meet their new parents. Our new daughter was 7 months old and is now 25. This is our darling daughter, Chelsea Sonia Noyona Jamison. Sonia was her nursery name in India, and Noyona means beautiful eyes. Chelsea was a name I first heard in the movie On Golden Pond. My father-in-law Ralph said it looked like a cow licked her up the side of her head in this photo. One of the things I love about Maine is summer swimming. The water gets so wonderfully warm. Chelsea and her dad enjoyed being in the inflatable boat. After the 6-month required wait, we legally adopted Chelsea. It was February and snowing as we made our way to South Paris to meet with the judge. We became a legal family forever. I admire the way Mainers take advantage of winter with fun activities like snowmobiling, cross-country skiing, and sledding. To keep Chelsea warm, I bundled her up so much she couldn't sit in her sled without the hay behind her. I learned about sliding and ice fishing. We caught one fish on Christmas Day, which was fried up and eaten. My struggle was always to stay warm. Chelsea was always interested in the goats and wanted to be near them. Daisy and Dandelion tolerated Chelsea, but Dahlia was jealous of her because I was her mother and here I was with another child. One of the challenges for me was all the snow. As the snow deepened, our house got shorter and shorter. After each storm, John would climb onto the roof and clear off the house and solar panels. I knew the snow was getting deep when we had to shovel the snow up off the deck instead of down off the deck. The problems became where to put it all. I had never encountered anything like this before. The snow looks deep, doesn't it? Aside from having one of my many bad hair days in Maine, I'm not going to tell you that I was kneeling to add effect to the photo. I learned to love ice skating. The most important part was getting the skates on before the cold penetrated my feet. The moose in Maine are awesome, and I was thrilled with each of my many moose encounters, which are all in the book. Halloween in Maine is like Christmas in other places. Decorations are everywhere in people's yards. So we participated by making a pumpkin man for the deck. Our cat Pumpkin felt at home on his lap. Another thing I love about Maine are the flowers. Up on the hill were multitudes of wildflowers. One of my favorites is lupins. They cover hillsides and they fill in along the roads. I also love the many ponds and lakes in this state, and especially in our area. We lived close enough to Little Concord to walk in and swim or camp at the pristine pond. Another nearby pond is Shag Pond. This is the view from the top of Speckled Mountain. Using our canoe, we fished in this pond. Oops, wait, how did this picture get in here? Oh yeah, this was my retirement party at our house in Washington on June 15th. These are some teacher friends and my principal and his wife. I think 30 years of teaching is enough. This is Chelsea saying goodbye to her friends Jenna and Leah Mawiney before we moved to Washington. They lived on the opposite mountain. Jenna was her very first friend. The book explains how someone from the city interprets life in the woods of Maine. I learned a lot. You'll have to read it to find out the solution to the black flies I discovered.